Here we go.
Got it. Good day, Grand Rising.
1 second.
Rising.
Grand Rising, Elizabeth. Thank you for joining us this morning. At 9 o'clock a.m., we will close our social media and continue on Zoom only. Join us by getting your Zoom link at elizabethvisionaryconference.org. We'll be there until 10 a.m. You can join us now, and we'll see you in the Elizabeth Zoom room. Today, your hosts are Nawili Griffin, LillieB, and Ayana Blair. Enjoy.
Grand Rising, Elizabeth.
Grand Rising.
Grand
How is
Rising.
everybody feeling after that new moon ceremony? Or everybody feeling okay? Did everybody do their due diligence on the new moon on the 28th?
All right.
Yep. I think
Still
Rising
got
in
fever.
Cancer.
I was with some powerful women, so I think we did a great job. It was wonderful.
I sure did. It was very, very significant, seeing as how it's rising in Cancer, all the motherly energy,
Yes.
I mean,
Filled with lots of water, loving emotion and sensitivity.
yes, absolutely. Ashe. How's everybody doing? Let's see.
Great.
Pretty
Here.
good.
We've got Peace, who ran our sister circle of healing and bringing in the new moon and writing down our wishes and doing a burn ceremony. That was so good. It felt great. We did a little chant. Saw the energy moving. Saw the energy flowing through the water. It was great. You could see
Ashe.
how we moved the water with just verbal energy, and that felt great.
Yes.
So
Oh.
now would we like to start with some breathing exercises or
Sure.
stretching?
Welcome everyone. I'm so grateful for Ayana and Lily who are holding me up today because I'm definitely jet lagging a little bit and I'm feeling it in and about now. So rising up with my sisters this morning, we're going to start off with a self blessing and then just about a minute of long, deep breathing. So what we're going to do is using our palms of our hands, our right, symbolic of the strength of the male, and the left, symbolic of the strength of the female. And so we're going to generate some energy, warm it up, rub till it gets so warm and like you just engage yourself and close your eyes. Again, welcome to Run, R-U-N. And what are you into today? And always, as Ricky BB says, the way out is the way in is the way out. Keep rubbing, and put the hands just a few inches apart. Feel that energy, your energy, what you generated, activated, bouncing back and forth between your palms. One more time, rub. And just setting your intention or doubling your intention up if you haven't for the day, whether it's to embrace more love, more peace, more balance, stay in that line of attraction, that place of manifesting, of demonstrating your wholeness your completeness, and that you are already perfect. And feel the energy bounce, 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 love, light, wealth, prosperity, abundance, health, well-being. And now we're going to take our hands above our head, and I'll just speak the words, and I'm going to say, I bless myself. I am. I am. Hold it over your crown. Let's go to our ears. Everything that we hear, take it in from that place of active, loving listening. I bless myself. I am. I am. Taking it to the third eye, our place of divine intuition, that knowing that I know that I know. I bless myself. I am. I am. Taking it to that throat chakra, that place of divine communication, speaking your truth, standing up for self, knowing that it is your time. I bless myself. I am. I am. Taking it to our heart chakra. Unconditional love, loving, staying in the loving, seeing that place, not loved by any conditions, but truly loving from a place of the great source, the divine source of love, knowing it is the answer. It is truly the way in to the way out. I bless myself. I am. I am. And above the navel, taking it to the solar plexus, that place of the emotional crisscross of, I call it the intersection of our feelings, our emotions, that gut feeling you get about things, that place where we try and can correct ourselves saying, it makes me sick to my stomach. So we're going to self-correct that in this moment and affirm, all is well, my emotions are balanced, loving, kind, and it begins with me. And right here, I bless myself. I am. I am. And below the navel to the sacral, the womb, that place where divine creativity takes place, where we are birthing as Elizabeth, embracing, releasing, and embodying all those qualities of that we want to create, that is birthing in all its various stages. And I salute from this place right here and now, Miss Evelyn, as she prepares for her Art in the Park this week. And from this place, I bless myself. I am. I am. And right, if you're sitting in the crease right there, as if we're sending that energy into the root chakra, that place of protection, groundedness. What are our core beliefs and values? What are we really standing on? And what are we ready to shape shift, to make stronger, to make more better? I bless myself. I am. I am. And just reaching your palms as if you're reaching to send the energy into the earth, the deepest rooted. There's so many chakras, and this deep chakra we're sending back into the earth, into the soil, into the pranic, the place where the pranic energy emanates from. I bless myself. I am. I am. Let's inhale, bring our palms back to our heart center. Let your thumbs touch right there in the center of your chest so that you kind of feel it, that you remember right inside is our core, is the real brain, our heart. With our eyes closed, let's take a deep breath. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. And inhale. And exhale. giving thanks, Mother, Father, everything, God, which is within me. Holy is thy name, and holy is thy name you have given me. Thy will is thy will is being done through and as my body, my mind, my soul. That which nurtures and refreshes me, I accept this day. I forgive myself and I forgive others so that I may freely love myself and freely love others. Therefore, I know I am tempted only to do that that generates the highest and best for all concerned. For I'm the kingdom, I'm the power, I'm the glory in my life. I'm one with the only presence, expressing as me now and forever and ever and evermore. And so it is, so be it. Amen, Ashe, Sat Nam. Take a deep breath, inhale. And exhale, release the arms, the hands, and release. Right. Wonderful, wonderful.
It should be.
And so today I'm going to hop in and tell my story. And then Lily or Ayana will do the introduction. So I met our guests through someone that the universe aligned with me since I've been in Detroit. And that's a cute way to put it. So I met Miss Audrey through Irene, my beloved. And I had seen her work before I seen her. So I had an idea of, I got a feeling tone about this phenomenal woman because when I saw the work, the gift that I was gifted with was one of her light pyramid creations, amazing. And the energy that poured from it, I couldn't wait to meet her. I think we were both as excited to meet each other. And when we met, it was just electric. She is just on fire with love and possibilities and just a message that it is time to hear. Yeah, her energy was so electric. The other thing I thought of was how we keep ourselves in balance, because she had so much energy. I was like, I just want her to take a breath now. I just want her to breathe. I just want her to exhale, because she was taking in so much and there was so much coming out. I was like, I think we're gonna do some work together. Yeah, it's gonna be way cool. So yeah, just a joy, a love. I already love her. I feel she is my sister. Another, she is my Elizabeth. She is a kindred. Detroit has brought to my life another kindred. I'm so blessed. And so I'm gonna let Ayana or Lily continue with like her good stuff on paper that she has shared with us. And so I'll let Lily or Ayana take it away.
I too have met Miss Audrey, and I don't know if she remembers, we were at the Charles H. Wright Museum. She was set up. I was speaking to her. I left her me and all these wonderful things, and I was just, she
Look at that. See, okay, look, calm down. You gotta calm down.
Breathe, woosah.
Breathe. Okay, right.
Yes,
I
absolutely.
love that.
Yes, I asked about your pyramids and things. You told me you were a professor and things. I was like, oh,
Not quite, but I understand. Yeah, we'll get to that.
yes, you told me a lot of things. I was just so happy that someone really took their knowledge and what they learned and opened their eyes with it. They opened their eyes and went further and learned more, that it's not just simple what's in the textbooks. You're not going to teach us everything in the textbooks. You were so passionate. You told me everything.
Yes.
Just like Nawili said, you were I asked for your business card. And you were like, well, people just throw those away. Or I was like, nope, not me. I'm most likely still have your business card sitting in a pile of my business cards. So I told you that we do pop-up events and that I would love to see you there because
Absolutely.
with a lot of spiritual women and things of that nature, it was just so beautiful. I think that was about, wow, it was a while ago.
Yeah, I was wondering how long ago it was. Because we had the pandemic, so that's been like 2 years. So
Yes,
maybe at least 3 or 4 years ago.
years ago.
Great.
Okay, no accidents.
No accidents at all. Okay.
He's like, I know her. She's the best for this. I wish I could have, found her and told her, yes, come to the Elizabeth. This is where you belong.
And you see it too, Nawili, from Los Angeles. Isn't that amazing? Like she said, we're all connected. Okay, let me just go and let you.
Hey, I share. So one moment. Uh-oh, I'm sorry. Hold on 1 second. Actually, it's better to hear right from the source, right from the creator, right from the person who has all the knowledge of themselves. Let's hear a little bit about what you do. I know you make those beautiful, wonderful spiritual pyramids that's very energetic. They are very full of energy and love. And
So I'm going to hold one of mine up. So I hope everyone can see it. This is one that I have, and I'm going to do the panoramic thing. Turn it around. I want you guys to.
Can you give us some more light?
Oh, that means I got to turn on my light in my house?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. Better?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So, this is from the top.
That's beautiful.
I don't know if you can really see the light. All of my pyramids have a glowing green light at the top. So that's how you know it's one of mine.
Okay. Yeah, it's not.
Yeah, you can't
really too much light.
Yeah.
At the bottom. And I don't know if you guys can see the copper. I mean, the base. I love the base. I have two. So this one.
You're gonna have
somebody just said. Yeah. So I mean, I don't even know how to explain this woman.
It's always loving them. She always puts a little rose quartz in there.
Yes. Absolutely. That's right. That's right. That's right. I can't believe that I met you at the Charles Wright. That is so funny. I love it. But it's just confirmation.
This is the other one. I hope y'all are looking.
Oh yeah, that's what I love. That was my girl.
This was a gift.
Yes. Oh, that's I love that one. There's a young lady on Etsy who creates those the melanated woman in the yoga pose, and I get those from her all the time. I said, oh my God, those belong in my pyramid. They belong in my pyramid. And I said, I don't care how much they cost. I'm buying, and I buy from her all the time, because I just love her girls. They just.
And I am a melanated yogini. So
there you go. Look at that. Look at that. So I love it. I knew it. That's us. Represents us all day. Yeah.
So, all right. So we're letting you intro yourself.
Okay, I love that. Sure.
Okay.
So my name is Audrey Rumbers. I live in Detroit, Michigan. I worked at Wayne State University for like 26 years. And in those 26 years, almost 20 years of that time, I worked in the physics department. And during my time at the physics department, I worked on the largest quantum physics experiment research that they're doing at CERN in Geneva, Switzerland. It's called the Large Hadron Collider, which is the initials are LHC. Now, I don't know how many of you are familiar with CERN, but CERN is a laboratory. It's a nuclear physics laboratory in Geneva, Switzerland, and it's where they developed the internet. So that kind of gives you an idea of the type of work they do. And what we did is we built the largest machine on Earth called the Large Hadron Collider. And they created it in order to smash subatomic particles together, basically trying to figure out what happened at the very beginnings of life. That's the general reason for why they're doing that. But of course, we all know that when we're doing things like science and especially in quantum physics, there's always an underlying reason for what they're doing. But so the, surface reason is to like basically search for the first few seconds after the Big Bang. For me, what we're doing is we're trying to crack the veil of this reality. And they are using powers that have never been seen on this earth to smash subatomic particles. Now they call it the Large Hadron Collider is because it's very simple. Hadron is a class of subatomic particles. So it's like when you get to the atomic level and then you have the protons, neutrons, electrons. Well, now they're trying to go beyond that and say, okay, well, what are the protons and neutrons and electrons made of? So it's a crazy situation, but they smash these things together at close to the speed of light just to see what comes out of them. So if you can imagine the type of power we're using, a lot of the people when we first started were very worried about what we were doing. They were saying that we were messing with things that we have no business messing with. And a lot of strange things happened at CERN during this time that we started up this machine. And we, like the first run, I think because first we had to build it, right? So my boss, who I worked for at Wayne State, was in charge of all of the US institutions involved with the ALICE project. CERN, the Large Hadron Collider had like 4 experiments: ALICE, ATLAS, CMS, and LCB2. Those are just all the experiments on this big machine. I was part of ALICE, and ALICE stands for a Large Ion Collider Experiment. My boss, Thomas Cormier, was in charge of all of the US institutions involved in ALICE, and he helped to design and we helped to build that part of the Large Hadron Collider and do the experimentation. And when I started working in the physics department, I had no familiarity with physics. I didn't want to have any familiarity with it, but once I started working on the project, and I started being on, I'm on YouTube a lot and whatever, and I started hearing people talk about it, and I realized they were talking about the project that I was working on. Now you have to understand, when I first started working, I was not a professor, no, not quite. I consider myself a quantum metaphysician, but I worked around quantum physicists for almost 20 years. And we worked on this project from the beginning, when the first designing the project, to the actual building of the project, to the actual experimentation at CERN. Working in this department actually changed my entire life. It blew my mind over 100 times, I'm sure. My life has not been the same since I started working there. And it wasn't for maybe about 3 or 4 years after I was working on the project that I really started being curious about what we were actually doing. So I worked on a project. I'm trying to make this long story really short. So all the time I was working on the project and I was learning about energies and these unseen energies that we can tap into. And my boss, I would go into his office many times after I researched online, and then I would come back to work and I asked him these questions. And one of the first questions I asked him was about us creating a black hole. Because on the internet, a lot of people were worried and saying that they're going to create a black hole that's going to suck the whole earth into it, and like, man, just like that. So I'm like, wait a minute, what are we doing here? So I goes into the office and I asked my boss, I'm like, they said we're going to create a black hole, and I'm thinking that can't be true, because sometimes they say they exaggerate things on the internet. Since I'm working with the people right here, I went and asked. And when I asked him that, I was expecting for him to tell me, no, that's just internet talk. But he actually said, yes, we could create a black hole. And he said, but what would happen is that it would burn itself out within a fraction of a second. Now, to me, that answer didn't really sit well with me, because I'm like, you know how it is with science. It's like everything is an error. I got this from the movie, The Man Who Fell from Earth, because I love that the movie, that series is selling so much. But it's like everything is an error in science until it's not, right? They're always experimenting with things. So if you're experimenting with something on that level and you assume this is going to happen, But what if what you're assuming is going to happen doesn't happen? Then that means you could create a black hole that could suck us all into it. And it would happen so fast, we wouldn't even know it happened, right? So based on that alone, I got very, very interested in what exactly we were doing here. And so the more I studied it, and I would come back, and I'm dealing with all these people. I'm at Wayne State, I was a project coordinator. I'm not a physicist, but I worked with them for many years. But so basically what I did was I did everything besides the research. I bought, I hired, travel, everything I did. So I'm working with them in all these areas. And so once I started getting more involved in what they were doing, it started to sound to me like magic. Honestly, it sounded like magic, like we as individuals could do magic if what they were saying, these concepts they were talking about were true. And so I went into his office again one day and I said, from my understanding, if we get a grasp on the concept, the mechanics of this quantum physics, that we will be able to do magic. Now understand that I use the word magic to a quantum physicist, right? And I use the word magic because I wanted him to understand that this is what I'm really feeling. This is what they're saying. Once again, his answer surprised me because he just said yes. Once he said that, that was all I needed to know. And I just immersed myself into this subject matter, and not so much from the academic side, like the scientists I was working with, but from a personal side, because I'm saying that I was starting to see that quantum physics was not about out there, as the way I always seen it as being something out there. Quantum physics was about in here and what's inside of me and what makes me tick and what I can do. So that's the way I started looking at it. And so over all of these years, and I've met so many different scientists from all over the world, Russia, Spain, Italy, France, so many people are involved. And what was funny is that I was the only female on the project. I was the only Black person on the project, and I was basically the only one without a PhD. Everyone else was, like brainiacs and things of that nature. So I just used the opportunity to learn from them, because I found myself in a very unique position, and I realized that many people did not, could not be in that, which is to be right smack in the middle of this thing that's affecting not just our world, but our entire reality. And things have been happening to prove those things, but that's another subject. Okay, so after I started working on this project in 2000, maybe about 2010, maybe I'll say that I started to say, okay, I have been studying this stuff for over 10 years. I've been in this over 10 years. I get this. I believe it's true. I was at belief stage at that point. I'm now knowing it's true. But I said, so what do I do with it? Because, I've amassed all of this knowledge, all of this understanding of energies and things of that nature. So now that I have the knowledge, what am I going to do with it? So I'm just sitting there thinking, how am I going to get people, to know about this? Because as much as amazing as it was what we were doing, I would hear nothing about it. I'm like, why isn't anyone talking about CERN? Why isn't anyone talking about what we're doing? It's just like, if you weren't in the physics world, you really wouldn't have any idea. So I said, okay, so how do I take this as a lay person and to help the people that I want to help, which is my people, which is Black people, because I feel that we have something to do with all of this, first of all, and we were the ones that need to be awakened the most. So I asked myself, what's missing, right? From our community, what's missing? I said, we had the creativity, we have the intelligence, we have all of these resources, but something's missing. And I'm thinking, okay, what is it? And it just hit me. It just said love. It says love. And I started to think about that. And I'm like, you know what? When I think, and thinking about myself, how we kind of, protect ourselves, protect our hearts, and we don't really let ourselves be vulnerable to people, things of that nature. And I said, maybe it's time for us to stop doing that and find that love within us and let it out, because I know we all have it, whether we show it or not, we all have it. So I was thinking, how would I do that? I said, so if you're dealing with energies, you're telling me there's energies we can tap into. How do I tap into those energies to bring love into my community so we can show who we really are and the power that we really have? And so I started studying tapping into positive energy, and I came across orgonite. And when I came across Organite, I'm like, oh, I think this is it. Because they were talking about the same things I was talking about, how you can tap into all these energies and use them yourself in a positive way. And that's what Organite was about. So I studied Wilhelm Reich and what he was doing back in the 1950s, I believe it was. And what really made me pay attention to what he was doing is because the government persecuted this man, and they ended up putting him in jail. And right before he was supposed to get out, he died. And they supposedly burned all of his information and things of that nature. And so for me, anytime the government persecutes someone like that, that piques my interest, because I know there's something there that they don't want us to know. So when I looked into him and I started making just regular Organites at that time, just to see, because I'm like this, either it is or it isn't. That's just no two ways about it. But I'm going to try it because I understand that there are a lot of things out here that we don't understand, but they're out here for our benefit. So when I started to think about what I would create, I thought about when the ancient Egyptians, because I studied ancient Egypt a lot also. And I remember reading one time that the ancient Egyptians would combine their art, their science, and their spirituality. And at first I thought, how do you do that? Because at that time, my mind was compartmentalized. Here was my art, here was my science, here was my spirituality. But then the more I learned, the more I researched, I started to put it all together. And I'm like, oh, okay, it's a holistic kind of thing. It doesn't have to be separated. So that's when I started thinking about creating my pyramids. So when I created my pyramids, the first thing I wanted to have was love. And so I looked for the most loving stone I could find. And for me, it was rose quartz. And I like rose quartz because rose quartz is a quartz crystal. And quartz crystals, I'm sure you guys know, are very powerful crystals. As a matter of fact, they use quartz crystals in all of our electronics and everything. And so you have to wonder, something that we think of as just a rock, scientists are using it for electronic purposes. So obviously there's something more to it than what we thought. And as I researched quartz crystals more, I found out that they give off an energy called piezoelectricity. So I'm like, okay, wait a minute. So when they're under pressure. So all of these things, I'm putting together in my head, and I go and I go to work and I talk to them, and then I go home and I research, on my own to come up with something that I could use as a tool in this fight we're in for our minds and our hearts. And so I decided to create a device that would emit positive energy, and it would also negate negative energy. And how I did that is that I created this pyramid. At the top of it is a rose quartz crystal. Coming down all four sides of it is fiber optics. The fiber optics comes from my quantum physics experiment, because during the time that I worked there, I was buying a lot of fiber optics. And at that time, I didn't know about fiber optics either. And when I got them, and I noticed, if you know anything about fiber optics, if you have a fiber optic strand, it's lit on both ends, and there's no mechanism for the light. So when I found out about them, I asked one of the engineers, I'm like, what is this thing? What is these fiber optics, and why is this light like this? So he explained to me that light flows through fiber optics, and information flows through light, and that's why they use them in the LHC. And so I started studying fiber optics. And I start putting all these things together, just, bits and pieces of here, information from this place to that place, so that I end up calling my pyramids like a ancient future device, right? Because it has elements of futuristic materials, the fiber optics, and it also has ancient parts of it, which would be the crystal and the pyramidal shape. So all of these come together, and then I always put a metal, mostly 90% of the time it's going to be copper, because that's also a conductor of energy. So I'm trying to make this energy device. This is what I'm trying to make. I'm trying to make something that's going to affect, the energy around us, like take some of all this negativity, and we got to change this energy. So I'm like, okay, this is the way I'm going to do it. So I created the pyramids, and of course you look at it, I mean, it's a pretty piece, of course, but does it work? And so the only way to find out if it works is the proof is in the pudding, right? And so the people who have gotten my pyramids, I've had so many stories so many stories that people tell me once they got my pyramids happened that I can't make this up. Now I have my own stories, of course, but you don't know, maybe it's just me. I don't know, but I'm thinking it's everyone, can be affected by this energy. So then when I hear other people's stories, then I realize that, okay, this is real. This is what's happening. I can't pay these people to say these things. So some of the things that happened when people got my pyramid, I'll give you one of my favorite stories because it's about my own family member. And when this was early on, when I started making pyramids, and one of my cousins, my younger cousins, called me and she's like, Audrey, I need a pyramid. I need a pyramid. She's like, so many negative things are going on, so many things, going on, in her house with the relationship, the kids. And she was saying that she had went to emergency because she was not feeling well. So I was like, oh my gosh. So I said, okay. So I went home, I got a pyramid because at this time, to have someone actually call me for a pyramid was like amazing. Like, oh my goodness, someone actually believes this stuff. So I took the pyramid over there. We're sitting in her bedroom and she's telling me, everything that's going on. And she says she's been to emergency 3 times. And she says, and because she's having really bad headaches. And she said they told her they couldn't find anything and it must be stress. She said, but I don't feel like I'm that stressed. We have, these kind of headaches. And she says, Audrey, I feel like I'm dying. And I'm like, you feel like you're dying? I'm like, okay, wait a minute. So I had the pyramid in a bag on the floor next to the bed. And I said, well, let me take the pyramid out. Let's change this energy. So I put the pyramid on her dresser. I swear, I'll say 5 minutes, but it wasn't even 5 minutes, maybe 3 minutes later, we heard this beeping noise. And I looked at her, I said, what is that? She said, that's my carbon monoxide detector. She said, that thing hasn't gone off since I had it. So I'm like, okay, so what are we supposed to do? So I was like, I guess we call 911. So we called 911. And so they sent the fire department over. So the fire department guy came out with his little, Geiger counter thing or whatever detector. He goes upstairs. When he comes downstairs, he says, everybody out, get out of this house now, open all these windows, you can't come in here. He said the carbon monoxide levels were so high upstairs that if they had stayed in that house one more night, they all would have been dead.
Wow.
Yeah, he did. He said he had never seen them so high. And like it went off the charts on his thing. Wow. I said, and my cousin was like, you saved our life. You saved our life. I mean, call it coincidence. I don't call it whatever she called me. It happened like that. And that's when I know, oh my goodness, there is really something to this thing that, I mean, for real, right? And so I have so many stories like that. I don't even know how many you guys would be willing to hear me talk about, because there is, this is a new day. This is what I'm saying. And that's why when Nawili asked me, do you have a song that you would like to play? And the first song came to me was Wake Up Everybody with Harold Melvin and Blue Notes, because this is the time. This is the time for us to realize this is a time of manifestation. Many people call it the age of Aquarius. And I understand that, but because I've been working in quantum physics for so long, I see it as the quantum age. The quantum physics age, the age of where everything that you thought was true is not true. Everything is different. All the science you thought was true, it's not true, because I consider quantum physics to be like spirit science, okay? Classical physics was physical science. Everything is a particle. Everything is this. But when they got into smaller and smaller parts, when they got into that subatomic level of us, they found that we are not just a particle, that we are something else, a whole different animal, that not only are we not what we thought we were, that we can actually influence from the inside, the outside, which is what you were saying, the only way out is in, which is true. But what I'm saying now is that spirituality, metaphysics have said all of these things and have been called pseudoscience, and that's not scientific, and if you can't see it, you can't prove it, blah, blah, all of that. Now, science is saying the same things that spiritualists have been saying, that metaphysicians have been saying. Now, science is agreeing with that. Science is now saying, yes, we are more than just physical beings. That's not all we are. We're even more than we ever possibly thought we were, and we can influence everything around us, because at the most fundamental level, we are all connected. Everything is connected. There's no doubt about that anymore. It's been proven scientifically that on the most fundamental level, there is no separation. So that means basically that everything that we do affects everything else. Whether we know it or not is irrelevant. It still is, right? So when I learned all of these things, I mean, it's just been so mind blowing, and I feel like before then I was sleepwalking. I thought I was living, but I realized I wasn't living. I was existing. I was reacting. I was never really proactive. I always reacted to things, and now I understand that no, the thing is to be proactive, and that's why I said I'm going to create something that's going to affect, that's going to bring the effect in the world that I want to see. And that's what made me create my pyramids. And I just have so many different stories. I can give you a story of my own. When I first started, I was driving. I lived in Troy, suburbs of Detroit at the time. And I was driving from my mom's house. I'm in the fast lane going down 75. I'm in my own kind of, in my mind, I'm kind of like in the zone, thinking about things, not really paying attention. And all of a sudden, the traffic came to a dead halt in front of me. And I knew immediately I wasn't going to have time to stop because I really wasn't paying attention. And you know how you can tell if you have enough room. We do that calculation in our head. And I'm like, I know I don't have enough time to stop. I'm going to hit this person. I knew it was going to happen. I just put on the brake and just pressed down as hard as I could and just got ready for the impact. But surprisingly, I didn't hit him. I came right up on his bumper and I stopped right at the bumper. And I was like, wow, I didn't hit him. And I was like, okay, I must have miscalculated. Okay, well, good. Okay, I miscalculated. I didn't do it. So I'm like, I'm good, I'm happy. And so when the traffic started moving again, I put on the gas, pumped on the gas, and my car wouldn't move. It just like was revving, zoom, zoom. So I'm really confused because I'm like, well, wait a minute. I didn't hit the man, so why is my car broke? Well, I looked down and realized that my car was in neutral. Now, I don't know how my car got into neutral. I didn't think about putting my car into neutral. I didn't move my hands off the steering wheel to put it in neutral, but it was. And I realized that when you put your car in neutral, it stops the momentum. So I'm saying, well, that must have been why I didn't hit him. Somehow my car got into neutral. When I'm sitting here thinking, I'm looking at the gear shift, I'm looking at my hands, I'm so confused. I'm like, wait a minute, how did that? And then I just saw my look, because I always have a little pyramid in my car. I've had ever since I started making them. And I just felt like I had just this dome of protection around me. You know, I just felt that because I'm like, how did that happen? And I just knew what it was. I was like, yeah, here you go again. You know, that's the way it happens. I've been doing this for I started it officially, I think in 2014. And the number of stories, I mean, I can just go on because as I talk about it, I start thinking about another one when I first started. And this lady she's a lottery lady. She works the lottery machine at the store, neighborhood store in my mother's neighborhood where I grew up. And so I just started selling my pyramids officially. And I went to that store and I saw one of my son's friends, and I was like, oh my gosh, I got to show you my pyramids, and I gave him one. I said, you got to have this. So the lottery lady heard me talking to him and she saw my pyramids. So she asked me about them and I told them, and she said, oh, I'd like to buy one. Oh, okay. So I think she may have been my second real actual sale of a pyramid. So she bought the pyramid and then she says, oh yeah, I like it. She said, I want to get one for my daughter, so I said, okay. So I came back, she got one for her daughter. About 2 weeks later, I came back in the store and she said, oh, I want to see you. When she saw me, she's like, oh, I'm glad you came in. She wanted to see me. I'm like, okay, what does she want? She got her 2 pyramids. Would she want another pyramid? I didn't know, right? So she says, you know that pyramid I told you that I bought for my daughter? She says, well, I didn't give it to my daughter. I gave it to my coworker. She says, because I felt like my coworker needed the positive energy more than my daughter because she had just lost her son. And I was like, oh, okay. She says, so when she took the pyramid home, she says, the next day, the lady comes back and she says, my son's picture flew off the wall. And I said, what? She says, yeah, that's what she said. She said it flew off the wall. She says, and then when she came in, she played his birthday. And she said his birthday was December 3rd. And she said, and it came out 1, 2, 3 straight. And I said, that's her son, letting her know he's okay. She's like, yes. You know, I mean, I can't make this up. You know, I don't know this lady who she's talking about. This lady didn't know anything about my pyramids. But this, the lady who works the lottery machine, she felt something like, no, I think I'm gonna, you see, and that's to me, it's just the universe working, you know what I'm saying? We're all working together. And she's like, nope, nope, not her. You need it, you know? So what, call it coincidence? Okay. You know, how many coincidences? Because this is what I tell people, okay, you can have a coincidence and then you can have another coincidence, but what is constant? What is it then? That's what I used to ask, but then I found out what that is. It's called synchronicity. And that's what was happening. I was somehow getting synced in, if you understand what I'm saying. You know, things were starting to come to me. Numbers were just running like crazy. And I kept telling people, I keep seeing these 11111 everywhere I go, 111. I'm talking to someone, telling them about 111s, and then they'll come back to me and say something that has something to do with ones that they don't even make the connection. And I'm looking at them like, what did you just say? And 777s. And it's been a roller coaster ride. My sister has had miracles. When I was seeing those ones, they told me that my spirit, because, you know, I had to look up the angel numbers because I didn't know anything about numbers back then. I'm like, why am I seeing this number? It's driving me crazy. It's like, what are you trying to tell me? So I looked up the numbers on Google, and that was 111. And then it said something like, that's your spirit guides. No, that was the 77. The 111s, it was like, you're starting a new journey, something new is happening, blah, blah, blah. And it was so funny because that's exactly what was happening in my life. I was starting to understand things and find things out, and things are being unveiled. And, you know, my life was changing at that time. So it was representing what was happening in my life, because I was seeing these ones everywhere. And it started off with a dream. I'll never forget it. I dreamed that I was at the casino and I won some money. And all of a sudden it turned into the Jeopardy you know, set. And I'm behind this thing, and it's telling me how much money I have, you know, in that little square when they put up how much money they bet. And when it showed me how much money I won, it was like 1111111111111. I'm like, what? And in my dream, I'm trying to put commas to see how much money it was, right? But then, so I woke up and I'm like, why did I dream about those? That was so weird to me. It's like, why did I have that dream? And from that moment on, ones were everywhere. Everywhere I turned, 111. It didn't matter what I was doing. If I was working, if I was doing a spreadsheet, if I was going to the store to get change, if I was getting a zip code, it was unbelievable. So that's when I started to say, something's to this. Someone's trying to talk to me. Something is happening. So that was the beginning of the numbers. And then the numbers stopped being 111s and they started to be 777, 77. And I was like, what? I had never experienced anything like that before. And so I started saying, what are these sevens? This was years, you know, a few years later. Then I looked up the sevens, and the seven said, your spirit guides are telling you that you're on the right path, you're doing what you're supposed to do, and they're gonna, this was the thing that killed me. It said to expect miracles, large and small. Now I said to myself, who tells someone to expect miracles? Do you know what a miracle is? How do I expect miracles? I can expect a miracle is something that just happens, but that's what it said. Shortly after that, my sister had cancer in 2010. It came back in 2013, but it came back in her lungs. And they wanted her to go through all the chemo and all of that. Hold on, babes. And all that. But at that time, she was kind of like me. She and I studied together, and we realized there were alternatives to all of this and whatever. So when it came the second time around, instead of going the route of the chemo and all of that, we went a different route. We stepped outside the box, and we learned about Rick Simpson. I don't know if you guys are familiar with him, Rick Simpson oil. And I saw the video Run from the Cure those years ago. And what they were saying was another thing that was unbelievable, but I researched it again and found out there was scientific evidence to back it up that cannabis oil cures cancer. Now it sounds ridiculous, to most people, because like that's not possible. But because me and my sister were starting to understand things and not as they seem, and they're all about pharmaceuticals and all of these things we were studying, we're like, well, maybe it's something to it. And with the scientific evidence, so my sister decided, okay, we're going to do this. And we did it. And I took Rick Simpson's video, did exactly what he said. We made it on my sister's back porch. I told her, I said, I feel like a granny in the Beverly Hillbillies, a granny be on the back porch, making up her concoction. That's the way I felt. I'm like, we're sitting here making medicine on the back porch. This is crazy, right? So we made it. Okay, my sister was diagnosed with it in her lungs on December 22nd, 2013. And she was supposed to come back on January 14th for the biopsy and to get things going and whatever. I said, okay, that's enough, time, because I understood if it's going to work quickly. So we went home the day after, on the 23rd of December, we made it. She started taking it. We went back on the 14th for them to do, all the stuff. They hooked her up to the IV, me, her, and my mom went. He took another chest x-ray. The doctor comes back into the room and he says his exact words were, well, you were looking for a miracle. I said, did this man say miracle? Did this doctor just walk into this room and tell me if you were expecting a miracle? And he put her x-rays, her chest x-rays, her lung x-rays up, and he showed us. And I have a picture of those, her lungs too. And he says, you see this? And the size of it was like about this size, the first on December 22nd. He says, you see this? This size, okay, it's like the size of a quarter. And he says, now this is it now. And when he saw the other picture, its head had shrunk down like this.
Wow.
And he was like, we don't even do biopsies on whatever you call them, tumors, whatever you call them, that small. They unhooked my sister from the IV. She was the talk of the town. The nurses couldn't believe it. The doctor couldn't believe it either. He says, well, you just want you to see your doctor, go back and, see your doctor. We walked out of Carmano's on a cloud, on an absolute cloud. My sister was so incredibly happy. And by April, when she went back to her doctor, because she had been going back and forth, and he says it's getting smaller, smaller. By April, she went there. He says, it's gone. It's gone. Now understand, she didn't do nothing else. She didn't change her diet. She didn't take none of the medications they were giving her. She did nothing because we wanted to see, is this real or not? Because if it doesn't work, Carmano's still there. It's not like they're going anywhere. They're not going to refuse you. So why not try this first? And it absolutely worked. And so that was a miracle that I experienced. And my sister had no side effects. It didn't bother any of her she had no other problems. And she stopped taking it after he told her it was gone. Me, myself, I never stopped taking it because I just think it's a preventative thing. But I guess she wanted to know, am I going to have to take this the rest of my life? Like they do the, pharmaceuticals, you got to take it forever, and there's still no guarantee. So I guess she wanted to see. And it has been since 2013, we're in 2022, no signs of cancer has come back at all. Wait a minute. This is what I'm saying. We're in this age of manifestation that we have to understand that things can happen that we never thought could happen. And what they're telling us is total lies about everything, So my sister, she got rid of the cancer. After the cancer was gone, her favorite saying was, I got 99 problems, but cancer ain't one, right? Love that. Like, that's right, because she did have other issues. One of her other issues was sarcoidosis. Now, this meant she was diagnosed with this in 2010 when she was diagnosed with the cancer.
Audrey,
And yes.
may I interrupt you? It
Please.
is 9 o'clock and we
Is
need.
it 9 o'clock?
Yeah, we got more though.
Yeah.
My God.
Man, it's so exciting.
Oh,
But we are going to exit social media. So we are glad, Facebook and YouTube, that you joined us. If you want to continue with us till 10 o'clock, if you just go to elizabethvisionaryconference.org and hit the button for Zoom and come and join us and hear the rest of this
Yes.
phenomenal sister.
The second miracle.
So bye-bye, social media. You may continue, dear.
Okay, well, so with the sarcoidosis, right? So she got diagnosed with sarcoidosis in 2010. And you know, of course, there's no cure for sarcoidosis, and it only gets worse. They only can manage it. So a couple of months ago, she got to the point where my sister could not even get up and go to the kitchen or the bathroom with her oxygen on and still having to take in these inhalers. Supposed to be emergency inhalers for her. She was just, you know, taking them like candy because that was her situation, was getting that bad, to the point where they told her her only option left was a lung transplant, right? Devastating. But I'm like, you know what? If it is what it is, if that's what it is. A couple of months ago, my sister called me. She's so excited. She's like, you got to come over. You got to come over. I'm like, okay, what's going on? So I go over her house and she shows me, because she had been looking up things about, you know, her condition. And out of nowhere, this advertising just popped up on her screen. You know, she said it was like orange and yellow, you know, and she's like, what is that? Well, when she clicked on it, it was an advertisement for this institute called the WEI Institute, WEI Institute. And it was listing all of her symptoms. Everything that was happening with her, they were listing. Were you up for a lung transplant, or you cannot breathe, blah, blah, blah. All these things are true. I said, well, we can help you. We can help you with ancient Chinese herbs, this and that and the other. Now, most people would think, oh, you know, boo-hoo. But because we had already dealt with cannabis oil and we understand now that everything, like they said, we need is in the earth, we were like, okay, well, what you got? You know, so he explained to us, you know, what it was and the, you know, the herbs that they use in this and the other. And he was like, okay, we'll try it. Because when someone tells you your last option, your only option is a lung transplant, I mean, what do you have to lose, right? So she took the, we got the subscription. It's like 5 pills 3 times a day. And he says most people, they just ask them to be on this regimen for 6 months. Now, this is $1,000 a month for these herbs, right? You think, oh my God, $1,000 a month. But if you understand how much they charge you for every little thing, that's nothing, right? And he's saying not for the rest of your life, just for 6 months. So we're like, oh, let's try it, because you get it for a month, you know, and then if you want the second month, you do. It's not like you're locked in for 6 months, right? So she went and got it. My sister got those pills 3 weeks after using those pills. My sister called me and said, girl, I'm so busy. I said, what? You're busy? How are you busy? Her whole quality of life has changed. This girl is moving. I used to, when I took her to her doctor's appointment, it got to a point where I had to park, get a wheelchair, get her in the wheelchair, push her in there, go park and come get her. She couldn't even get out the car and walk to get her wheelchair, right? And now, last time we went to her doctor's appointment, they got these long corridors. My sister walking these long, without stopping, without, I gotta sit down, back and forth. I'm like, 3 weeks. 3 weeks this has happened. Now, how is that possible that the medical establishment, which has been feeding her these steroids and all of this stuff and all of these things, and then of course that affects something else, and now that's affecting your heart, blah, blah, blah. These people give her some natural pills. Within 3 weeks, her whole life has changed. That's a miracle. That's a miracle. How could this be possible? How could this be possible? But in this time of revelation, in the quantum age, when we are uncovered, when the veils are being unlifted, I'm trying to tell people, this ain't your ordinary time. This ain't your grandma's time. This ain't your grandma's science. This is a whole different animal. And fortunately, the younger people are more open to this because they haven't been so indoctrinated as we have. that they're more open to see these things that we're more resistant to. So they're already out there. And I'm telling you, they're doing things that you wouldn't believe. Most people wouldn't believe because you don't think it's possible. And I'm talking about things like telekinesis, telepathy, all of those things that they've said that we've had. Now they're showing them, because here's the thing, what I want to get you guys to understand more than anything else. They have led us to believe that everything, in order to change things, it's going to be hard. And you got to do this. I'm saying, no. See, because on a quantum level, there is no time. You understand? There is no time. So it's only going to take as much time as you want it to take. That's it. That is so it. But we don't believe that. We're like, no, because they've always told us, you got to do this, no. It's all about your mind. And this affects that. That doesn't affect, this is what creates that. And once we start to understand the power within us, see, that's what I would never have had the balls to think that I could create something that would actually affect the world before, right? I'm just a small person. Who am I? I'm not no one. I'm not this, I'm not that. But when I start to understand who I am, I'm like, holy crap. What? This is inside of me? You see, this is inside of all of us, and especially melanated people. We have no idea. We have no idea. We don't have any idea. That's why I get so hyped. That's why I can't keep it down, because I know the truth. And you don't know that. I'm like, you know, but you know what I'm saying? Most people, you don't know the truth, because if you knew the truth, you wake up every day saying, I can't believe this is my life. I can't believe this is my existence. But because you don't know, and you walking around thinking like, this is all I mean, think about this, guys. This is what I start thinking about. If you think about it, everything we do, basically, normally we learned how to do by the age of 5 years old. You said, no, yeah. My 6-year-old granddaughter does everything I do. She do everything I do on her level, right? And all we do is start to do it better. It gets more complex. Our conversation gets more complex. Our work gets more complex. Our play gets more complex, but it's still the same thing we're regurgitating that we learned from the age of 5, when we learned everything. So I asked myself, I said, what's the next step? What did you say, Nawili? Nawili, you said,
I said, what's next?
What's next? What's next? Because I'm saying, think about it. If we are already doing this at 5, there's got to be another step up, in our growth. I mean, it's almost like we're retarded in our thinking. We got stuck in just repeating the same thing instead of realizing that we can go higher. But that's because they want us not to look, because if we all knew what would happen, we all looking for a leader. We're our own leaders. We're the ones, us individually, just individually along the power that we have. And I'm telling you, this is not my spirituality talking. This is my scientific brain talking. This is my science brain, you know what I'm saying? This is what science taught me, not my religion, not my, you know what I'm saying, spiritual practices, none of that. So I'm saying, so how can you argue with that when these things are agreeing? I don't get it, unless there's just a block, kind of right here, kind of blocked, and once you unblock that, everybody on their own level, there are people that are doing things that are much more fantastical than what I'm doing. But for me, what I'm doing is like unbelievable, because I've been able to affect other people's lives in a positive way, which is what I wanted to do. So I'm basically manifesting everything that I wanted. And I didn't have to leave the city. I didn't have to leave my house. I didn't have to go and get a new nothing. All I had to do was change the way I think. That's what's going on. That's it. It ain't hard. It's hard, but it's not hard. But it's only hard because we make it hard. It's like you got to work. No, you don't. Do what you love. I've been making pyramids how long has it been now? 7, 8 years. I haven't worked a day in my life since I left Wayne State. I have not worked a day in my life. And I love it. I do whatever I want to do. It's, you know what I'm saying? That's my main point that I want to get through to people is the power is not outside of you.
Nope. Bring it in.
And it's all about opening up ourselves to what's inside of us, and inside of every single solitary cell in your body is a quantum machine that doesn't know anything about time and space. That's amazing. And I'm when I'm working on this, I'm asking them, why aren't people talking about this? I don't understand it. I told one of my professors, I said, don't you think we should go into the insane asylums and get those people out and start talking to them? Because you know they're talking to people who weren't there, and you told them weren't there, and now you tell me, oh, wait a minute. Well, we have parallel universes here, so maybe. I mean, maybe. You know, maybe we need to start listening. I don't know. I'm just saying.
Yes.
I mean, and it look at me like I'm crazy, right? But I'm like, well, doesn't that make sense? Because we told them it was not.
I think Miss Evelyn got an amen. If you want to speak, please.
Yes, please. Yes.
Because when my mother was diagnosed with, it was dementia, she was talking to her sisters and brothers who had passed in the house. And I was thinking, and I know that's what she was doing. I know that's what she was doing. They were there.
They were there. They were there. They were
And
there.
I think I got one of your pyramids and I gave it to my daughter. It's on her, it's in her computer. I'm pretty sure we've been together.
Okay.
With Mama Janet.
Oh, Mama Janet.
At the church. I remember at the church.
Oh, that's my heart right there.
At the what is that? West Side Activity Center. Didn't you do one there?
Northwest Activity Center? I'm sure I've been all over the place. Yeah. I do remember that. That was some years ago. Yes. What I tell you, see, it all happens for a reason. They sat me there in that place. You have to understand, I didn't know nothing about physics. I'm a Black woman just trying to make some more money. I like science fiction and all that kind of stuff, but I never was into no real science. All that was just numbers and calculations. I wasn't interested. But the universe said, yeah, you finna come here and you got a job to do. This is the beginning of it. I have never, when I think back on it, I said, oh my God. And what was funny is that the address of the physics department is 666 West Hancock. So when I went for that interview, I was like, oh man, they sending me to the devil's place. Because back then, I was still into the 666 was, you know what I'm saying? But really and truly, listen, I try to stick with all the positive energy and all the positive things that we can do. But please understand, there's a lot of negativity out here that I don't really like to talk about because I don't want people to go down that rabbit hole, because then once they go down that rabbit hole, that's where they want to stay. I'm like, no. You ain't got to concentrate on that. Understand that it exists. Oh, it's here. Absolutely. But just understand also, hold on, baby, that there is another side. And see, after I had got into all that darkness and getting it CERN, all of that stuff, I said, but there's got to be another side to this. You see, because for every yin, there's a yang. And that's what we don't understand. Because if you see all that negativity, then you got to know that on the other side, there's just as much positivity, but you ain't looking over there. You looking over here. You too busy looking at what they doing. I say, we get so caught up in what they doing, we forget to figure out what we going to do. See, that's reactive to me. That's that reactive. What they doing? Okay, we got to do this. What they doing? No. Stop concentrating. They're going to do what they do. They're going to do what they do.
That's the parlor trick. That's the parlor tricks. Politics, parlor tricks. I love that analogy.
So I tell them, anything they're telling you to focus on, that ain't it. Because they ain't talking about CERN at all. And it's breaking all reality, the Mandela effect. Y'all, I don't know. I could go on. Y'all, do y'all understand what's happening here? This ain't no regular. This ain't like yesterday. Yes, things have been changed. Portals been open. So many things. Yeah, I see, but I try to keep it down because people think I'm crazy, but I'm not crazy. You understand? But this stuff is all in my head, and I'm trying to get people to. My last presentation, I talked about. I said, let me go ahead and talk about CERN so I can let y'all really give you an idea of what's going on, the strange things that have happened at CERN, the quantum computer that they aren't talking about. The quantum computer is not a computer. It's a whole nother animal. It's a whole nother animal. And they have these things, quantum computers at CERN. They have them at Google. And Google, if you notice, they just said Lambda, Google's AI they said one of the designers said the thing is sentient. What does sentient mean? It's self-aware. Yeah.
Oh.
I see why you get so hype. I do. I mean, first thing in the morning, I said they're gonna get me started. First thing in the morning.
First thing in the morning.
So deep. I'm like, wake wake up, y'all.
And lady, she started it off with "Wake up, everybody."
Yes.
No more sleeping
You
in
know,
bed. Yeah.
Yeah, all that backwards thinking.
Time to think
ahead.
ahead.
Yes, because the world has changed so very much
Yeah.
from what it used to be. In so many ways.
Wow.
He was
This is
telling us
real.
then.
This
He
is
was
real.
telling us then.
This is real. This is real.
Woo!
It's not a joke. You know what I'm saying? I've experienced the Mandela effect. I don't know how many of y'all are familiar with it, but it's mind blowing, and my mind gets blown every day. So every day is a new day for me. I'm never bored.
Can you tell us about the Mandela effect?
Okay.
Okay. Hold on, ladies.
Put your seatbelts on, people.
Everybody, woosah, take a deep breath.
Yeah. Okay. The Mandela effect is something that a lot of people are experiencing, whereas they call it the Mandela effect because some people believe that Nelson Mandela died in prison in the 80s and did not live to be the president of South Africa. They have that memory. They have the memory of his funeral and everything, but that's not what happened, right? So that was one thing. All of a sudden, all these things in our reality have changed, all right? Some little things. I got a long list of things in our reality that once were, they aren't now. What do you mean by that? I go with the simple stuff. Things that I knew that aren't true anymore. And I'm gonna go real simple. How many stripes does a skunk have down its back? White stripe.
One.
I know it's
One.
Who said that?
I might be wrong, but one.
Right? And you've known that all your life. I mean, as long as you've known skunks, right?
Yeah.
But if you Google a skunk, you'll see how many stripes a skunk has down his back in this reality. See what I'm saying? That's one of the simplest. It's so many different things. I can send you guys a whole list off of the top of my head. Wait a minute, and it's so deep, it's even changes in the Bible. I said, what they gonna do about that? Because he's all about the Bible. The Bible. What about the changes in the Bible? Do you know? I grew up a Christian, right? And there was always this thing in the Bible that says, "The lion shall lay down with the lamb." Do you guys remember that?
Mm-hmm.
The lion shall lay down with the lamb. The lamb was like the Lamb of Judah. Blah blah blah. Right? Well, do you know if you go to that Bible right now and you look that up, it'll say the wolf will lay down with the lamb. That's just one. I'm just picking out. Listen, you can look it up. Okay, you can look up the Mandela effect and these things. And I'm going to tell you, when you find things that you know to be true, aren't true right now, your mind is going to be blown. Because I was very disoriented for a very long time. I didn't understand how this is possible. There's something wrong with me, but other people are seeing the same things and they don't know me. So how can we all be misremembering the same thing? But they're telling us these things never happened or these things never were. It was never like this, but it's always been like this. Not that it changed. They're saying it never was. But when you understand the type of power they're dealing with at CERN, when you understand the type of energies that they're dealing with that's never been seen on this earth, excuse me, you know, then you'd understand why we're seeing these weird things happening and portals opening and all of these things that we thought were science fiction. I'm telling you now, this is science fact. These things are happening, and you got to either open your mind to it and deal with it, or you're just going to be one of those that just refuses to see and it doesn't want to just think that everything, and that's your choice. But I don't live in that reality. I understand the power that we all have and that we all should recognize and start using it. Start using it. You know, I'm talking about whatever your gift is, whatever it is, start putting it into practice and stop letting other people make you think that, oh, what you do, that's not real and blah, blah. They're going to do that. Like I say, that's just background noise, because when you know, you know. It's just that simple. When you know, you know. No one can tell you didn't experience what you experienced. No one can tell me I didn't experience these things. So if I know that I experienced these things, how can I tell someone else who's going to tell me an incredible story that they didn't experience that because I don't believe it could happen?
So I'm just going to pause you right there.
Okay.
And the question that comes to my mind right here for everyone, the question is, what do you know that you know? Absolutely. Right now, in this moment. Don't overthink it.
You asking me or anyone?
No, I'm in general.
Oh,
I
yes,
know.
yes,
I mean, I don't know.
Okay, yeah.
You know.
Okay,
I
yeah.
know that you know.
I know that I'm connected. Are we supposed to answer?
Yes, sure.
That I'm connected
Ashe.
spiritually, emotionally,
I
physically.
I always felt like the breakthrough is right here. And I see the crack in the wall. I know that for sure right now.
Yeah.
I'm trying to break through that.
Yeah.
Yay, Miss
Yeah.
Evelyn.
Yeah.
And drive that new car.
Yes.
And you know what? Open it with the key of love.
Yes.
Because if it's not a foundation of love,
Yes.
it ain't what we're looking for.
Yes.
Right.
It's not what we're looking for.
Right.
Yeah.
You can't open your heart and be vulnerable. And I'm like, I am
Come
whatever.
on.
I don't hide
Come on.
nothing. My weaknesses, I got weaknesses, I got flaws, I got faults, all of that. But that ain't nothing compared to what I really am. See, that's just all of that stuff covering over. This diamond is all inside here. I recognize the diamond inside myself. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Whether I express it all or not, it's still there. And it's in there. You know, it's like when I see like you know how you see the black man, like the alcoholic, he's on the corner, he's, you know, and you're looking at, when I see him, I say, oh, you don't know who you are. If you knew who you were, it don't matter what that is, because who you are is who you are. No matter what, we're all Cinderella. You know, you're getting the cinders, but we're really the princess, and we don't know it. So we just keep digging those cinders, but when we stop digging those cinders, yeah. And they don't want us to know, no. I keep asking, why you think they want to, you keep saying, oh, they want to get rid of Black people. Why? Why are you so targeted? You're the weakest link in the chain. Why are you so targeted? Maybe because you're not the weakest link. Maybe because you're the strongest link. Maybe that's why. You're using your melanin to go up in space. You know that, don't you? Don't get started. Listen, I just want to pique your interest, your curiosity, and say, wait a minute, maybe I don't know. Maybe there is something going on that I don't know about. Maybe they are trying to hide something from me about me that I need to know. About me, not about everybody else, about me as an individual. That's what I'm saying. We all have it, and they don't want us to know it because we are connected. And when we get all of that melanin energy, I understand why they're so afraid.
Oh yeah.
I get it now. I used to didn't get it, but now I get it. I said, oh, you got a tiger by the tail. That's what it is. You like, holy crap. We cannot let these people know. We cannot let them know. But the doors are already open and they don't want to be closed because these young people, they get it. And guess what they're doing? They're using their power, their gifts. They're using it while we sitting up there. Is it? Could it possibly? I don't know. They using, because see, they ain't got time for that. They understand the time they're living in. People in my generation mostly don't.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to hold on to their coattails. I'm like, don't be leaving me behind. I'm with y'all. I want to go to the fifth dimension. I don't want to stay in the
Me
third.
too, me too.
I don't like it. I'm trying to rise up with them because they're rising up.
Yeah.
They're rising up.
Audrey,
not
I had to share with you that there was a time when I had gone on a fast and didn't know why. And I mean, I just didn't want to eat anything. I wasn't hungry and stuff. And about three days later, my pastor came back in town and she was calling the members of the small church. She was calling the members and she was saying that, just checking up on us. I said, well, Pastor Renee, I haven't eaten in 3 days, haven't wanted to eat. It's not like an official fast, but I literally did not desire food at all. And so she prayed with me and gave me some scriptures. I went over to the church and I prayed that morning. And after all the, praying and stuff, the Lord spoke to me and said that I was going to use you as Moses and to lead the people, right? And after all that, I said, okay, but I ain't staying. I'm going with them. So I get with the young people, see, because I'm not going to be stuck with all these old people in their mind.
Exactly.
I'm going with the kids.
That's right. That's right.
And I know that they're coming here with totally new.
Yes, they are.
Catch on the things real quick, and we want them to just focus on one thing, and they're used to doing a whole bunch of things and seeing things fast on the computer, and it's a whole different world.
Yes.
But I want to ask you about because some information that comes to me on a continuous basis is that some people that are in particular are political giants and entertainers did not die, or they are dead. They've gotten rid of them, but we still see them. Is that like the what you were talking about, the Mandela effect?
No, that's something different. That's something like cloning. Okay, that has been a thing. Now, that sounds ridiculous to most people, right? Because like cloning people. But I'm like, do y'all remember Dolly? Y'all should be old enough to remember Dolly.
Yes.
Dolly?
Yes, ma'am.
What, 1970 or 70 something? They cloned Dolly. Dolly the sheep. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They cloned Dolly.
Yeah.
Dolly
in the 70s.
Right.
Dolly is a sheep.
Yes, I remember that.
You remember Dolly? Dolly was very famous because she was the first clone. They cloned her. That was in the 70s. We're in 2022. You don't think they're cloning people?
Yeah.
Exactly. What makes you think they're not doing human?
So, you know what I'm saying? All these things that say, oh, that can't be possible. I'm like, well, yeah, it can. Yeah, if that's what they want to do, that's what they can do. And this is what I found, that these scientists, what they're doing is just like they're possessed by the science.
Yeah.
It's like they don't think about what could happen, the possibilities. Because like, we got to do it. We got to do it. It's like they're possessed. We got to do it. You know what I'm saying? Maybe they are possessed. Maybe the demons. I don't know. But I'm saying this ain't the same place it used to be. And we got to recognize that and start being more proactive in how we change that, because they make us feel like you're so weak. You're not powerful. You can't do anything. And we think, okay. I said, lies, lies, all lies.
The same experiments as these scientists. These scientists are horrible.
I'm sorry.
I said Hitler was doing the same experiments as these scientists.
But
they didn't do anything to find some information over science.
Because see, they understand there's something else too, because I'm telling you, when you study these things like I did, and I don't know why, well, I do know why, because you have a purpose. Because one of my side of my brain is in the ancient time, because this is when I'm trying to understand who I am. And then another side of my brain is in present times, in the future, with my work, and these things come together, because what I realized is that the ancients knew about this all along. Another thing I said to my boss, I went in there to him, I said, Tom, I don't understand this, but The same quantum physics concepts that we're talking about now, they were talking about in ancient times. I said the same thing. He says, well, no, that couldn't be possible because they didn't discover quantum physics till the 1930s. I said, well, I don't know when they discovered the quantum physics, but I'm telling you, these ancient people, I'm not crazy. They're like, that sounds like quantum physics, what they're saying. And then he says, well, you know what they say, there's nothing new under the sun. I'm like, thank you very much, because I know I'm not crazy. And then when you start studying those scientists, guess what? You find out they were studying the ancients. They were studying in the Vedas, the Indians, the CERN has a statue of Shiva, the god destroyer. Yeah. See, it's so much to this stuff. I just get overwhelmed. That's why, Nawili, where she at? That's why I'm so, and I understand what she's saying, because sometimes I feel like, calm down. But as soon as I start talking about it, it's just, and I start thinking in my mind, I'm like, oh, and I just want to like, I can't keep it down. It's like trying to keep the genie in the bottle. It's like, but it's hard. You know, that's what I'm saying.
Well, we're so happy to get your overflow. We talk about our filling our cup runneth over, you know, and you don't give from the cup, you give from the overflow. And girl, you are flowing over, all in all directions.
I know.
Table and everything else. We're not even gonna go get no napkins. We're just gonna let it sit there and wallow in it.
You know, because I just be all over the place, and I haven't even touched anything that I really, you know what I'm saying? Because it's so much. It's been over the years, and it doesn't stop. We can say, okay, it stopped here, and so you can talk about that. It just continues to go on. The changes, on July 5th, CERN is going to start up again, the LHC again. They're going to start, it's been down. They've had it down for upgrades and whatever. They're going to start it up again on July 5th with even more power, more energy. We're talking about trillion volts of energy. You should see the strange things over this place. Y'all, we in some unbelievable times. And things are being opened, and I could do a whole presentation on the portals. And
so I feel that there's the opportunity here for ongoingness in this conversation, a forum that keeps going, that you can keep us and those of us who are truly seeing this birth into the knowledge and wisdom that we so desire, that our hearts are calling for this, obviously. But we wouldn't all be on the call.
Yes.
And so so that we keep you undergirded with love and support. What's next? How can we support you? And you having taken this passion, this love, this zeal out to share it.
Yeah.
And to have foot soldiers or ambassadors who also are in cahoots with you.
Yes. Well, that support. See, I believe in win-win situations, right?
Yes.
That's what I said. No win-lose. No. We win-win.
Yes.
You see,
yes.
Support me. Each one of these, when I started this, I said, I'm gonna change the world one little green light at a time. Because all of my pyramids have that green light. And see, to me, I'm creating a grid. Because I know everyone who has one of the pyramids and that energy, we're all connected.
Yes.
Support me, support us. Go check out my site, audrey.com.
Can we put it in the chat, please?
Put it in
the
chat.
This is one of my pyramids. And I see, I don't know if you can see my green light, but when you see it on the site, they'll be better.
So can you put it chat, Audrey?
Okay, wait a minute, because
Star, did you have something to say? I see you had your hand up.
Yes. First thing is I wanted to answer Nawili's statement or question, and where she talks about what you know. And I know that nothing is impossible. If it comes to your mind, then it can be done.
That's right.
And then the second thing is, how do I get one of those pyramids?
I'm gonna put my
Audrey, we slinging pyramids. Yeah.
Yeah, because listen, this is so real, you know, and I just love the fact that, because whatever story I tell, I don't exaggerate anything. I don't put no extra on it. I ain't gotta be hyperbolic. I'm just gonna tell you this what happened, this what happened, this what they said. And then you take it from there because I don't have to exaggerate. This stuff is just blowing my mind. Just on GB. I can't believe this is my life. And I'm so happy, that I'm not walking around sleepwalking anymore, thinking that I'm living. I'm so glad that I'm being proactive now. I'm putting my energy forth. I am doing it intentionally instead of just unconsciously. My intention is there. I hear everything I say now. I used to just talk and not even hear. I say, you got to listen to yourself. Don't listen to other people. Listen to yourself, what is coming out of your mouth. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I concentrate on. Oh, there's another one of mine. This is the one with the Caduceus sign. And that's our Kundalini, another one of those things, symbols that they, kind of kill for us, but whatever. It doesn't matter because it's all coming back. It's all coming back. There's science and everything in these symbols that that's not simple symbols. The Eye of Haru, it's like the brain, the pineal.
Yes.
It's just so much, So like I said, I live half of my life in future times, half of my life in ancient times, and they come together. And that's what I call my pyramids. They have ancient future concepts. You got to get with it. You got to be able to bring them together, and understand that the ancient time is the future time. It's just coming back around. And I believe they tried to tell us. They tried to tell us, and all these things that they left for us, so many things, so many monuments, ancient cave drawings. There's so much stuff that they don't talk about. They don't talk about these giants that's been fossilized, and it look like mountains. I mean, it's just so much out here that we never talk about that would make us all more curious about the world that we live in and realize it's not what we thought it was. Our history is not what it's been told to us.
Right.
And there's a reason for that, Black people. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
I'm just saying.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying. That's all. That's all. Yeah. So
Now, when your camera is off, babe.
Sorry. Okay.
Yeah. So any questions? Anyone have any questions you want to, anything? Because I'm telling you, I've been in this a long time. And
it's like what you don't know, you don't know. You don't know what to ask about what you don't know. Like I said,
but
just to pique your interest, because that's the way I started. I didn't know anything about any quantum physics. What the heck is that? I don't want to know. It sounds hard. It just sounds hard. But then when I was able to relax and realize that, oh shoot, quantum physics is for everyone. The children should be knowing about it. It's like I talk to my grandchildren differently now. If they hurt themselves or whatever, I tell them, well, your body's healing itself. You don't need it. It's telling them right now. And I show it to them, see the pain is going, that's your body healing it. Understand what society is.
So I have another question for everybody. Based on what Sister Audrey has brought forth, what are you willing to put to the test from this Thursday to next Thursday? I'm giving a home assignment. What are you willing to put to the test?
Can you elaborate on that question a little more?
Okay, so she's given us a lot of information. Everybody has their individual passion and why and purpose why you're here. There is some area and there is something that is tickling at you. Some areas, something that wants to be answered, and you have not taken the step based maybe on past or future, but we're in the now. So what are you willing to put to the test this week between this Thursday and next Thursday? Just it's tickling you. So even if it's like a little baby step. Okay, example. For me, my mini vision board says, this is the time for me to make my body smile. So what I'm willing to put to the test for me is I have a very serious challenge with time zones. So what I'm willing to put to the test is a stab at how I can get in the center of being in time zones and not feel so off. I don't know what it is, but I'm willing to put something to the test between this Thursday and next Thursday, which next Thursday, RUN will be from New Orleans. So I will be in another time thing. So this is something I'm willing to put to the test because it has me quite unsettled. So that's what I'm willing to put to the test. That's just my example. So it may sound different for you, the way I asked the question, but for me, that's something, and it feels like maybe it's more meditation, maybe to get aligned, maybe, I don't know what it is, but there is something, and I'm willing to put it to the test in the next week.
Well, I want to say that I am willing to put to the test my memory. That it is sharp, and that and how it will show up for me is names, that I will remember people's names and say them correctly, Mama Bay. And so with that memory will come clarity for me to be able to write the things about my business plan and clarify without the struggle, that I will think like a 20, 30-year-old,
Come on.
like that.
Come on. I share.
Yeah.
Well, can I give you an example really quickly? Because when you said that, and I really, it reminded me of something. I was talking to this guy, he's a Moor, right? And when we talk, and he gives me all the Moor science and all that, you run all of that off. And I said, okay. I said, I get that. I said, so I tell you what, I said, so I want you to take all of that information, and all of the night, I want you to squish it down. And I want you to tell me, how do you take that and use it when you interact with us people on a daily basis, right? Because you got all of this knowledge, but yet when you're working, interacting with us in a regular basis, a barber, how do you affect that in your life, right? And so he was thinking, I said, okay, I tell you what, I said, I want you to do something for me. I said, tomorrow, I said, I want you to do something nice for somebody. I don't care who it is. I said, I don't mean nothing big. I said, just do something like intentionally with intent, right? This is what I'm going to do. I said, because I want to show you what I mean, how we can change things, right? I said, something nice. I said, if one of the guys is coming in the barbershop, you don't usually speak to him. He's like, oh, well, that can get you killed. See, black men always go with that. I was like, okay. I'm not trying to get you killed. I said, maybe do it with a female. I don't know, speak, whatever. Just do something different, positive with us. Just one thing. It ain't nothing big. Like open the door if you don't usually open the door for a woman. Speak to a woman. Whatever it is, just do something with intent, right? So a couple of days later, he called me back and he said, I did what you said. And I had forgotten all about it, right? I'm like, what did you do? He says, well, let me tell you what happened. He said, I was coming out of my door, coming out of this house. He said, and as he was walking out or whatever, he says, a lady was down the street. And she was like, like, excuse me, whatever. He was like, what? He says, and she came up to him. She says, do you have $5? She said, I need $5 in order to, for this, give this guy to blah, blah. He said his immediate response was to say, no, right? But he says, as he was saying no, he realized he was reaching in his pocket. And then he said, that's when it really realized, like, wait a minute. This is the opportunity, right? To do. So he's like, yeah, I got $5. He said, he took the $5 out. He gave it to the lady. She said, oh, thank you so much. And he said, and then the guy that was with her, he said, wow, that was a really nice thing to do. And
Come
I
on.
tell them, I say, now you see what I'm saying? I say, because see what you did, what you don't realize is that energy. You see, you
Yep.
changed her energy, you changed his energy, and then what you don't realize, because you changed his energy, that next person that he interacts with, guess what? Now you didn't change his energy, change dealing with them. You see, and you don't even realize the ripple effect, but it goes the same way negatively. If you had told her, well, I got you, then she would have been, and then he would have been, you see, and then he would, you see what I'm saying? And it
Yeah.
just continue. So it's just a one thing. You think you got to be all great and I got to be so no, you don't. Just when you got opportunity, just change it.
Yeah.
With each other. With each other. Just a regular working day. You ain't got to be no guru. Just change it. And it's just that simple. And when you change you and you change, guess what? This changes that. Because they can no longer deal with you with the same chemicals. You know what I'm saying? Emotions are chemicals. We create chemicals for every situation. I don't like you. Oh, where's my dislike chemical? Blah, there it is. You see, but then if you do something to change, and I'm like, oh, I don't want to use that chemical on you no more. Oh, I kind of like you now. Okay, now I got to change that chemical. You see what I'm saying? It's all chemical. This stuff is just so crazy. But we can do this. I'm just saying it's very simple. Just one thing. Just go out and just do one thing that you normally wouldn't do. I normally don't give to a homeless person. I don't give it to me. I don't care what you do with it. It's not the point. The point is the energy that we're putting out there that reverberates, no matter how large or small it is, it's still affecting everything. So I tell people, imagine if everything you did affected everyone else. Would you act different? It does.
Yeah.
That's my point.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we don't think that. So we think, oh, it's just me. It's just, no, you're affecting everything. Everything. You're not small. You're humongous. But you keep yourself small.
Star.
Miss Audrey,
Yes,
I wanted
ma'am.
to ask you a question.
Yes.
You have created something very awesome, and also in the way that you think. Have you gotten any downloads about about an expansion or what happens next? Because we are in the age of freeing the people right now. And so I wanted to know, have you gotten any downloads on expansion for yourself and your creation?
Well, I don't know if I've gotten downloads specifically about that, but I will tell you this. I have been very disoriented for a long time because of not understanding what was going on. And I have been talking to someone because everything that's happening is fine. But see, for me, the overarching thing is, I don't know where I am. You see, I know that I'm not where I was. I know that because everything has changed. So for me, for the longest time, I go along and I still think, but where am I? I don't know how to deal because I don't know where I am. You understand what I'm saying? It's like I don't know where I am, so I don't know how to react to this because I don't know what this is about. And so it's been a thing for me, and I get frustrated sometimes, especially when I'm talking to people and they're still not getting it when I tell them that the reality has changed, they can't get it. And I get frustrated. And I was talking to a lady not too long ago, and I was telling her about my frustration. I'm like feeling frustrated. And then all of a sudden, it's like that frustration at that moment, it hit me and it says, memory started rewinding. And I came to the fact that I said, you're on the other side of a black hole. And they're like, what? I said, I know where I am. I'm on the other side of a black hole. Like, what do you mean? Because remember, rewind, when I told you I spoke to my boss about, can we create a black hole? And if we did, what would happen? And he told that, but see, what he didn't tell me was that if it did happen, not only would we not know it happened, but we wouldn't know. Let's see. We wouldn't know. I mean, I'm trying to put this, not only would we not know that it happened, but If it did, we don't know what happens once you get inside of a black hole. Do you understand what I'm saying? There's all of this theory. But see, what I'm saying is, I believe that once we got into this black hole, it took us into another dimension. I believe we're in another dimension. I believe we've been moved in this black hole, whatever's going on, and it's really weird, and things are really weird here. But because I understand where I am now, I know how to react. Because I said, oh, in this reality, everything's possible. So all I do is I use the things that used to be impossible, that are possible now, to our advantage. Because now I understand where I am. From my perspective, now someone else will say we're somewhere else, but that, to me, that doesn't matter, because my download, the information, the way it came to me, way things, all of those information that was just floating around in my head, and then sometimes it just says, okay, let me put it in order for you. And I can see it. I'm like, oh, that's, it's like that. So I don't know if that helped to answer your question or not, but that's what I thought about when you asked me that about expansion. And as far as us expansion, we're in a whole different place. All the rules are, it's all about what you believe or what you know. That's going to decide what your reality is going to be.
I know I was listening to something on YouTube or watching it, and it was saying about basically what you're saying, that the fifth dimension has already
happened.
And this is what was very unique to me. It was saying that some will, because it's going to affect our body and so on and so forth, but some will choose, because we still have choice. Some will choose to exit and not go through not going through this, and kind of there's no fact or nothing, but when you think about all that left Earth, it left this left, it was more than just they had COVID. There was a whole bunch of things that we don't know about, where people surrender, say, you know what, I don't want to go through this. I don't want to go through this body change. And of course, I would just assume that at that point of death, that knowledge, they know a lot of stuff in those moments of leaving. I don't know if that makes sense.
Absolutely.
You're opened up.
That's when it opens up. Yeah, absolutely.
Just chose to get on out of here for in all kind of different ways, not just COVID, but it was such a huge thing happening, just like
an exodus.
A huge exodus. Yeah, that's why I said exodus. A huge exodus.
Yes, it was huge. And that's when I was reading that, and there's financial changes going on in the world that only a few know about, and politically there's people being taken out or cloned, and we don't know what, we don't know. We're just a herd just going, just, shove them over here, shove them over there. Not knowing. I mean, what you've shared with us today is mind-boggling, but it's also refreshing. It's refreshing to know that we're not just at the whim of life.
Others, the others.
Right. Yeah. Did you? I don't know if you guys saw the movie Soul. That movie, I'm like, oh my God, they telling, look, oh my goodness, what did they?
Soul, spell that.
Soul, S-O-U-L. This is a Pixar movie. It's a Pixar movie, but it's a kids movie, but it's not. And it's and the soul, the soul's number. I'm just gonna say this. The soul's number was 22. And when I saw that, I said, 2022. That's gonna be the year the new soul comes in. You gotta watch that movie. It has a lot of quantum physics concepts in it, and a lot of spiritual concepts in it. And it's telling us, and the lead is a Black person. And it's just like, once again, it's just, here it is. And just keep telling you. But we just, it just goes right over our heads. Right over our heads.
That was a good movie.
You saw that. You see, of all the numbers of souls, the soul's number was 22. Wow. And so many other things in that movie was amazing, telling us, It was all about the simple things. Yeah, we get to, we want things to be so complicated and so hard, and say sometimes we just gotta relax with it. Just relax with it and let it come to you. Just, instead of you like this, nope, that's not gonna do it. You gotta relax for the real information and knowledge to come to you. You just gotta let it come through.
And breathe.
I remember years ago, I would take my daughter to school and then I would go to work because we had a car and my dad was alive and everything. We had a car. I remember listening. What tape was that? Who was that was talking about? What tape was that? They were talking about quantum physics. I can't remember. It was somebody, and that was he was talking about quantum physics, and it was a whole thing. I might have to look it up.
Yes.
But I remember.
Here's the thing. I just want us to know that when you say quantum physics, it just sounds so intimidating and all of that, and I understand that. But like anything, I had to take it down to its most fundamental level to really try to understand what it is. And basically, quantum physics is just the study of very, 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 very small things. And when they study those very, very small things, all the laws of physics break down. That's all it is. That's all it is. And when I think of them studying those very, very small things, they're studying us, the makings of us. So if it gets weird, then we're weird. Then I mean, we do weird things because that is us. It's so much out there, ladies. It's so much out there. So much out there to wake us up and for us to see all we have to do is seek it out. That's it.
So we have a couple of minutes. Any parting comments? Laser them, brief, for our guests or for us. Anyone?
I have a comment.
Yes, ma'am.
It's Audrey. I wanted to say that there's a reason why I asked you that question. There is an anointing on this platform, and now that you're here, it's too late. It has already hit you. And so do not be surprised about what you get and see after you leave this platform.
Yeah, I love that.
So true. I agree.
That miracle. I'm like, I'm in.
I'm in.
Yeah,
I feel that you are correct.
I was going to tell you, because when I started this for many years, it's such a male-dominated field that only males would be interested in what I'm saying. I'm like, I got to get my girls involved because we're a different kind of energy. You know what I'm saying? I need their energy because their energy is more like a feather. Y'all like a hammer. I need my energy in here to work this out the way we work things out. That's what's needed. So I am so happy. Anytime I get into a room full of women, I'm like, yes, y'all. Yes, this is us. We got work to do. Play to do, Absolutely. So I appreciate the time. Absolutely. I do. Honestly, I do. I'm so happy. I really am.
We're so happy and so appreciative also. This is divine how this all unfolded. As usual, I am not surprised. I just want to thank you, Audrey. You are my girl. And I'm just so grateful, and I just want to thank you from all of us. And y'all like to unmute and tell her thank you, or we're just gonna all shower her with love and support.
Thank you. Big hug.
Thank you, ladies. I love all of you. Thank you so much. Being a part of this.
So very much. We appreciate
we
you.
definitely expect for you to come uninvited and invited to give us some more information, because you can't all that up in your head and in your heart, you could not ever come out, and a lot of these sisters, also more sisters, that are not here today would definitely need to hear, and even more that has been coming and more that are coming need to hear what you're saying, because we've got to step out of the box.
Yes.
Think outside the box. and we need to become a little bit more familiar. Some will walk out the box. I don't live in a box myself, but some, and even that, I'm sure it's still somewhere where the box is bigger.
Exactly.
You know,
Exactly.
all right.
Yeah, you
Okay,
keep
so-
thinking you're out and you're still in it.
You just, from one box to another. But
And
we want, yeah, we want you to come back and do some, more presentations and share with us as well.
Yes,
And we
please.
will come over to your location. I don't see where it's in here.
it's in the chat.
It is.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
The address
Mhm.
is in here.
Yeah,
Uh,
audreynight.com.
Oh,
Oh, shoot,
sure.
I did it wrong. I'm sorry. Oh, no, I did it right. That was me putting it in. Someone put Evelyn. Is
Oh, did I put it in wrong?
You.
Yeah,
Yes,
Evelyn put it
you.
in there for you.
Yes.
She put it in there. So is it a physical place that we can come to or only online?
Oh,
Online.
can we do a physical thing?
Well, because first of all, I didn't even really have an online store until the pandemic, because I was just as you know, Evelyn, I'd be all over the place, and but it wasn't until the pandemic where I had to kind of rearrange things and kind of be more online. So it's kind of new since the pandemic that I've been online. But
Okay.
hopefully I'll be getting out to more events now that things are more, normalized again, and we can kind of get out, because I'm not taking no
Well,
events
yeah. Well, and Sky Covington, we do the Hug Detroit Day, the big festival.
Mhm.
We definitely want you to do that, and some other things that we as Elizabeth will be doing. So we definitely you're like Pam said, you're in, like Nawili said, you are in. So you are part of, because
Yes.
your message is too needed. It's
Yeah.
so in time, on time, now time.
Yeah.
And our time is now. And so
Yes, it
we
is.
want to be powerful in what we're doing to step out and reach out. We want to know what we're doing a lot more than we do, even
Yes.
if we're walking by faith. This particular Elizabeth is really being orchestrated by God. It really is. We are not having to do, all we had to do is just show up.
Mhm.
Just
Yeah,
show
that's
up.
what I tell you. See, it's not hard.
Yeah, yeah.
When you're in the flow, it just takes you away.
Yeah, well, you've been an evidence of that today. Not a boring moment. It's just full of information and joy and
Yes,
uplifting. So we
absolutely.
really appreciate you. Now,
Thank
really,
you.
All right. So I thank you. I love you. I appreciate y'all. And my team, Lily, Ayana, I adore you. I'm so appreciative. And next Thursday, we'll be live from New Orleans.
Ooh, New
oh,
Orleans.
wow. You're
Yeah.
gonna be stepping, huh?
Orleans.
Yes, I'll be at,
You be
and
line
so,
dancing.
yeah, line dance conference. So, it's going to be live. So get
Okay.
ready for that. So
All right,
I love
peace,
you guys.
everybody.
Have a wonderful, wonderful, safe, productive, peaceful rest of the day and the weekend. I guess this is that long weekend. I'm not sure, but I'm sure. My time
Yep.
thing, I'm sure. Today is Thursday. So, yeah. All right.
Yes, absolutely. All right, everyone.
love
It's a
you
beautiful day.
guys.
Have a beautiful
Thank
day.
you so much, ladies. I appreciate you.
love.
Much love to all of you. Have a
Love on
Yeah.
wonderful,
yourself
wonderful day.
All right.
Love
Hug
yourself.
yourselves.
and love the world.
Love the world.
Love.
Yeah.
Yay.
Bye-bye.
All right.
All right.
See y'all.
Okay.
Love
Bye-bye.
you, Audrey.
Love you
you.
too.
Love you,
Evelyn.
Audrey.
Love you,
I see you.
sir.